I'm a city child. I grew up in asphalt. The first time I saw anything outside the city, I was in my early teen years, and I was amazed by what the world looked like. And still, even though I find the world outside of my walls, I find it extraordinarily beautiful. I see marvels and wonder in the things that people make. I'm more influenced by things that are man-made, and yet I will wake up with colors. Like it'll be a day that I really want blue and yellow, or pink and green, or I'll have this idea for some terrible combination of like orange and some kind of screaming yellow-green that I think maybe I can put this together so that it will be beautiful. And it, just because I find some challenge in that. Or I'll wake up wanting to test a material, and I'll be really intrigued by what it can do. Yes, it feeds me and really pushes me uh, to try to do what I do better, to move ahead with it. I had two moments when I was in my mid-40s of a real decision about my life. One was I went to a workshop, a conference for teachers with Carl Rogers, the humanistic psychologist at University of San Diego. And when I got there, for some reason, which I don't or never will understand, I suddenly felt like I was betraying myself. I was going to this workshop about teaching, which was really interesting to me, with a psychologist who was famous for his writings about education, uh, for whom I have very great respect. And I suddenly felt like my life was a lie. Wasn't what I was. And then at another point, and this happened, um, I think it was sometimes later, I was following my usual routine, which was um, in the morning, I was teaching early morning, and then I would come home, and then I would go back to teaching in late afternoon. And at about 11 o'clock in the morning, I was going to the kitchen to put together this usual big lunch that I fixed because my husband came home and the children were all there, and we sat down to this big lunch every day. And I was walking into the kitchen, and I had this feeling suddenly of, this isn't my life. Art is in everybody's life. There is art in everything we use. I mean, even, the furniture around us has been designed, and it's been designed usually by a trained artist. Everything. I mean, the clothing that we wear, the frames we put our pictures in, the the dishes we use, the pots we use, they're all designed by artists. There is art in our lives. And I think that, you know, some of it, if we want to evaluate and judge, some of it is finer or poorer. And it's usually, about how much care went into the design or how much expense went into it, which often really influences something. But the kind of art that we're talking about that goes into galleries and museums, I sometimes think is a little too separate. It's maybe a little too exalted and mystified because I see art as such a natural part of the human operation. Because what I do is not what a great many people think of as painting. And I don't necessarily call what I do painting, but that is one of the names that I give it. It's also an assemblage. It's also just two-dimensional art. It's also collage. It connects us to some kind of inner space in ourselves, into what you might want to call our emotional lives. And art can very often connect you to feelings of joy, of grief, of a whole gamut of feeling. And I think it's easy to see how music does that, and certainly literature, and also visual art. And that can be, to my mind, it can be something totally abstract or something very representational will do that. And yet, the way I see it is, if what you're looking at on the wall in the frame looks like a face or looks like a barn, that's an illusion, because what it is paint. It's paint on a surface. It could be a canvas or paper or whatever, or it could be done with charcoal or pencil. But it's an illusion. It's not a face. It's paint. And what I do is the same thing. It's paint and color and line. And I would like people, and of course a great many do, just to see it for what it is, because there's no hidden meaning, nothing other than what is totally visible. It's visual. So yeah, I want people to accept it, and I would really be happy if they liked it. And some people have told me that they find joy in my painting, and that really makes me happy. And I don't understand how that gets expressed. I don't know how it comes across, but what that joy is the joy that I feel when I make the painting, because it's a totally joyful operation. I love to do it.